when you've had a lot, you're speechless and you don't know the right thing to say, or you don't know how to respond. And honestly, wow, this is really, really insightful and helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I could say a number of applause coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's really interesting. I was just making notes and I'm like, wow, it's good you started with what mentorship is not, because I think sometimes it's important to clarify and to have a clear picture of what we are going into, or what we want to see, because if we don't know what to expect, and we can take anything for it. So it's good you were able to clear the picture, give a clear picture of what mentorship is not, and you went on to say a lot of things about mentorship. And one some of the stuff I wrote down, it's the shortest pathway to greatness if you're willing to put in the work. So as much as it sounds so, oh, this is a great way to go, there's a condition attached to it. So that's really fascinating and really interesting. And it's good to see you outline a number of things that we could do, a number of things that we could gain from a mentorship. Indeed. Thank you so much. This is really, really helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we are going to open the floor for questions, and just please feel free to use the raise hand button. If you have a question, we would appreciate if people could ask their questions. However, if you're more comfortable typing your questions on the chat box, please feel free to do that as well. But yes, would really encourage people to engage and to see how we could get as much as we can from our teacher today, let's say, or our lecturer, whichever. But yeah, thank you so much. So just a quick question from my end. Now, um, during your speech, you said something about you need the skill to ask. So it's interesting to know that you don't just ask, but you need the skill to ask. So I was wondering if you could please just throw more light on what practical skills do you think we need as individuals to approach mentors. Yes, I know you mentioned some of them, but if you could kindly just talk more about skills we need to ask for help, please. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, help is something that um because there's no self-made person, you would always need help. Okay. So the skill I mean is the intelligence to know who to ask,
Hmm.
when to ask, and how to ask. Because you can ask the right question to the wrong person, and it becomes a disadvantage to you. And before you will know who to ask, you must have first things must be clear, and you must have studied the person. So it's an intentional thing. For instance, let me use an example. You want to apply for a scholarship or a funding, and you have an idea of the particular type of funding you want to go for. Then the first thing to do is to start looking for someone that has applied for that type of funding before. You don't waste your time with people that have not done that type of funding. Then when you get that type of, the person that have done that type of, you now start planning on when to ask. Do I connect do I send an email, or do I speak to the person through LinkedIn, or do I seek for the person's phone number and send a text message? And there's a lot of intelligence around this, because you start thinking about where the person is and the culture that guides the place. You can send an email to someone in Nigeria, or someone in India, or someone in Bangladesh, or someone in Pakistan, and it will take a very long time for you to get a reply. But you can send an email to someone in the US, someone in the UK, and you'll get a reply immediately, because the culture is different.
Mm-hmm.
You can also send a WhatsApp message to someone in Nigeria, and you'll get a reply almost immediately, because it's handy. So these are some of the intelligence around it. Then the next thing is how to ask. You can barge in and start with asking for help. Meanwhile, you have not prepared the grounds.
Hmm.
You have to prepare the grounds. It's not the first day you're reaching out that you ask for the help. You have to build some sort of relationship when you have discovered the right person to ask the help. And you have to also know when. In fact, there are certain helps I want to ask for, and I've planned for a conference, depending on how important it is for me. I've planned a trip. I've traveled far to gain help before, because I know that the type of help I'm seeking for is not something I can do through the email or something I can get through a phone call. In fact, I've booked a trip. I've booked a trip for a certain type of help I need from someone, and I'm going to travel just to have a sit down and discuss it. I'm about to travel miles to be able to gain certain help. So is knowing when, how, and who. The intelligence to navigate that will make a lot of difference, because there are certain, if you don't do your study, especially about who, you can throw out powerful questions, but you have thrown it to the wrong person. People's dreams have been sabotaged because they approach the wrong people. Okay, so I will stop here.
Wow, thank you so much. Knowing when, how, and who, it's really important. And thank you for highlighting that again. And when you were speaking, you said something about prepared for opportunities, and you highlighted the how, what, and when principle. And this is really helpful. Thank you so much for highlighting that. Just another follow-up question from my end. I know sometimes we have aspirations, we have dreams, we've spoken to mentors, we have prepared, and then we're faced with failure. I know you said something about managing failure. It's a powerful skill. And then
Yeah.
again, my question about skill: how well do you manage failure? How well you don't feel discouraged? Because I'm sure everyone on this call may have experienced a one form of failure or another. How well do you manage failure and enhance an opportunity from that experience?
Okay. So now, like I said, navigating failure is as important as also navigating success, because the both of them are all opportunities. Failure is an opportunity, success is an opportunity. In
Sure.
fact, I can tell you that some people's success have become their undoing. Some other people's failure have been what has pushed them up. So the both of them are opportunities. So for failure now, um, the first thing to do is to tell yourself the truth. Most times, people transfer reasons for failure to superstition. So there's a difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. A growth mindset, mindset is everything. So growth mindset tells you there is something you can do to get a better outcome. But a fixed mindset tells you this is where it stops. I failed because I cannot do it. So when you have a fixed mindset, you're telling yourself, I failed because I cannot do it. And a growth mindset tells you there's something I can do extra. And if I do it better, I can gain the success I require. Failure can be daunting, but there's a particular phrase I usually use whenever I'm talking to someone that has failed and exhausted and almost giving up. I usually tell them that giving up is not the antidote for, for when you're tired. People don't give up because they are tired. What helps you when you're tired is a rest.
Hmm.
So when you're tired, you take some rest. And that's why people take things like career break, take things like a little time off, take things like vacation to rest. Change environment, change activities, change practices for a little while, rewire, re-energize, and you come back again. So you don't give up. That's not, when someone is tired or frustrated, the solution is not giving up, because giving up will not solve the problem. The solution is proper rest. So when you have rested, you come back with real energy, come back with refreshment, and you're able to push it down. So
Hmm.
I'll stop there so I can also attend to.
Much rest, strategize, and come back. Those are very key things you've just highlighted. Thank you so much. So I'm going to move over to the chat box and just read out some of the questions we have there. Please, let's feel free to put our questions there or use the raise and button. So the first question is, what is the difference between a mentor and a role model?
Okay, like I said, you have patterns. Why mentorship is powerful is that you have patterns and you have models. And if you want to go far and shorten your distance between where you are and where you ought to be, the first assignment that you need to do, which is your responsibility, is to seek out role models, people that have done what you're interested in doing. First of all, when you seek them out, for instance, let me use myself as an example. There are certain people that have done what I intend to do in the future. And the first place I go to is maybe I go to YouTube and I check out their documentaries. So they are role models already because they have gone ahead of me and they are like motivations. They are ahead of me. They are like motivations for me. They are like inspiration for me. And I seek out and I'm learning them from afar. So they are motivations, they are inspirations. If you remember when I was talking about what mentorship is, and I was trying to define it with single words, I said that the first one is influence. The second is inspiration. So a role model is someone that gives you a foretest of what you can become.
Mhm.
A role model shows you that what you're interested in is achievable. A role model shows you that what you're gaining for has been conquered.
Hmm.
So it's an inspiration. So, and they
Oh.
are linked with mentorship. When you cannot reach physically to your role model, search them out, buy their books. In fact, when you buy someone's book and sit down and read the person's book, you gain the person's wisdom in a sitting.
Mhm.
And that wisdom took the person, if he lived 70, 80 years, took the person 80 years to build. Let me tell you one very, 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 very important thing. That very important thing is that people don't gain wisdom easily. It takes time to build. People build it over time. Some people make mistakes and learn from it. And you come and pick up their books, read their mistakes, and also read their successes and jump their mistakes and practice their successes. One of the strongest things I run with now is that I don't take a major decision with common sense.
Hmm.
Because when you take with common sense, you gain common results. But when you want to make a major decision, you go and study. Study about people that have done it, ask questions, reach out, and upgrade yourself so I don't take with common sense. Common sense is common.
Hmm.
And when you take decision with common sense, is your default sensing because you're taking that decision based on what you know and what is available to you. And there's a lot out there that you don't know. So you seek for upgraded knowledge, and with it, you'll be able to take a better decision.
Hmm.
So that's what role models do for you. You look up to them, they inspire you, and they push you forward. They give you hope that that area has been conquered. I remember when men were trying to go to the moon, it was a big, it was a big issue. But as soon as the first person went to the moon, it became a normal thing.
Wow.
So role models give you the hope that that area has been conquered, and it's very important in our
Wow.
journey of mentorship.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's important you highlighted again that someone has walked the path you're trying to walk, and um 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 says there is nothing that's happening to you that is new under the sun. So if someone has gone through that path, that place I'm trying to get to. I think it's all about finding the right person, finding the right resources that would get me to that point. Thank you for that.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. The next question is how you mentioned about formal and informal mentorship, and someone is asking
Yeah.
how effective is informal mentorship is.
Okay. Interestingly, there's a skill in public health. I practice public health. So there's a skill in public health called informal engagement. And it has been established that if you want to get anything done, you leave the bureaucracy of formality and move to informal engagement. And it works powerfully well in mentorship too. So informal mentorship is when you learn indirectly from people. For instance, you're in a conference and you have a breakout session. You have a breakout session and you're just catching up and just greeting. That is the best time to connect informally.
Mm,
I had an experience recently, I went for a conference and during the breakout time, I saw a lady, she was just standing alone and I walked up to her and we started talking. We're just catching up, generally catching up. And after catching up for like 2 minutes, I asked for her card, and she gave me her card. I had no clue who she was. Had no clue at all who she was. She gave me her card, and I told her what I do, and she was interested too, and requested for mine. It was not up to 5 months later. She became the director of public health within that county. And I sent her an email and invited her, and we started doing things together. As simple as that, it was very informal.
mm,
It was very informal. The connection was very informal. And there are lots of people I've met in an informal way. Because when you come to meet people in a formal way, bureaucracy breaks the wall. But connecting people in a friendly way, a smile can connect you to anyone. A smile can, and that's why it's good to be nice. It's good to be kind. It's good to be friendly. You can gain things you will not get anywhere, just by being kind, just by being nice. I know people that have connected well on a lift, enter the same lift with someone and say hello, just saying hello. And that will open up a discussion. It has happened to me, not once, not twice. In fact, I'm going for I'm going for a conference next week. And how did I connect to the person? I was in another meeting and I saw someone I had no clue of who she was. And during the break time, we started talking. And she said she was going for a lunch. Can I join? I said, okay, no problems. I joined and we just sat down and started talking. And we had a lunch and went back to the conference. While we were talking, we were just talking. I got back to my workstation and I see this advert of a small grant, this. And I looked at the funder and it was the same name, the same person I just met. The same person I just met. And I connected well with her. I sent an email and the rest is history. Informally. If you're into the contract world where people seek for contract, nobody talks about contract in a bureaucratic way. It's informal chats where you hang out to in fact, everything that's ever started informally. I can give you history of how major banks started, like Lloyd's Bank. Lloyd's Bank started in a small coffee shop in London where people gathered. Two, three, four guys gathered and they were just having coffee. And they were sharing informally of how this can happen and how this can happen. And then someone said, wow, we can actually tie this together and it can form something great. And that's something great today is Lloyds Bank.
Hmm.
University of Lancashire started informally. Some people in a church setting were just discussing on a problem they had, that they realized that people that drink, alcoholism was tied to poverty. There are people, men that drink, that is really tied to their families being poor and their children don't do well. It was just a casual discussion in a church setting. And after that discussion, the guy that started the discussion said, "We can do something about this." And they formed an advocacy group. Over time, it transformed and is an university today. So informal discussions is actually the bedrock of anything that becomes great, because the walls of bureaucracy does not exist. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And this just highlighted something you said in your talk. You said be prepared for opportunities. I think it's important that when one is prepared, you meet whenever you meet opportunities, you just spark. So thank you so much. Thank you for that. I'm mindful for our time, so we may not be able to take more questions again, but just one question here, if you just briefly address, just because of the time, so we don't keep people longer than we anticipated. So I said some mentors are difficult to approach. So why are some mentors difficult to approach, and what can we do to get into their minds?
Okay, so there are lots of things around this question because there's something I wanted to say. Some people you want to mentor, you can actually be toxic. It's not everybody that can be your mentor, because you can get into mentorship relationship that will mar you.
Mm.
So when someone becomes too difficult to approach, find out why the person is difficult. If the person is a toxic person, learn from afar, because something you're seeking can actually be what will mar you. But if it's because the person is very busy, then you start finding other ways. Send an email, find out the people that are working with the person closely, somebody that can put in a word for you, positive affirmation, volunteering for the person, finding other ways to connect, and giving it time overall.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Chika, for this. It's been an let's celebrate our speaker. Let's just say thank you so much. Thank you. This has really been helpful and impactful.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to listening to this teaching again, because there sometimes you just keep to listen and listen again and get it really clear. But thank you for this. It's really impactful. Thank you so much. Dr. Carl, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you, Dr. Chika, for this opportunity that you have highlighted a lot of things for us. Um, I'm happy to be sitting and just watching and listening. It's been very good to hear from a mentor speak about mentorship. And thank you, Emmanuel, for guiding the discussion and also your deep reflections about what Dr. Anigo had said. Yeah, so just a little about Dr. Anigo. I've known him for quite a long time, over 10 years, and he's been a mentor to me and still a mentor to me up to this time. So it's a privilege that he brought out these times, come and speak to us. I I knew the battle we fought, we fought behind the scene just for him to make out this time. Several attempts to bring him because of his tight schedules and other things, but I'm really, really happy that he finally was able to come and share his thoughts with us, and a number of things I'm not going to repeat again, but I've made my notes, and also luckily we're going to have this recording available. He has graciously accepted that we can record his section for people to have access to them here and hereafter. So when we're done with the meeting, we would be able to upload that on YouTube and other platforms so that we can keep learning and meditating upon all the things that he has said. And if you do have more questions about um, mentorship, areas of concern based on his discussion, please feel free to drop us a line and we can get in touch with him to respond with relevant answers. Yeah, just two more things from me before we wrap up for today. One is that following this discussion, we are rolling out some mentorship programs around scholarships, around funding to get into master's degree, PhD programs. Those who are interested would enroll for that. We also have ongoing mentorship for public health trainees or people who are interested to enter into public health training, particularly in the UK, but it could be anywhere else. So we're building a village of mentors who would be available to support with people who are interested in the field of public health, and we will extend that to other fields with time. So the last mentorship will be for clinical academics. These are those who are doctors who are also interested in research and who want to go through the pathway of academic clinical fellowship. We're also rolling out mentorship for those kind of people. So if you are one of those, you can drop us a mail at estukacademy@gmail.com. But we'll formally announce those when we start. So the last good news I'm going to share with us is about Estuk Academy being 5 years by June. So our organizing committee, they have been working assiduously, working so hard to make sure that we bring to us an interesting celebration. So it will be coming up in June, on the 14th of June 2025. So that's roughly 4 weeks plus from today. And we're looking forward to every one of us here. There are a lot of packages for us, ranging from exciting keynote speech to quiz to fun fair and things like that. So I really am looking forward to that, and I honestly hope you're looking forward to that. So thank you everyone for attending to today's meeting, and enjoy the rest of your week, and see you in our next webinar, which also doubles as our 5th anniversary. Bye everyone. Thank you.